Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Running Wild Podcast. I'm your co-host, Rich. Alongside me, as always, my co-host, Runz.
Yes, sir.
All right, just before we get started, I want to remind you that we're brought to you in partnership with pwponderings.com, lastwordonprowrestling.com, rohworld.com, and we're featured on the Wrestling to the Max network. All right, so kind of a crazy couple of days, a huge Rumble weekend, and now kind of like on the road to WrestleMania, and some kind of like big news coming out this week. So I guess let's start in order, right? We could start with NXT Takeover. What were your thoughts?
We can. I guess we completely kind of forgot about this. We can briefly discuss some Evolve. Just the big kind of takeaways from the weekend. I enjoyed seeing ACH both nights. I enjoyed seeing Keith Lee wrestle Hero the first night. Both of Hero's matches were excellent. The one with Sabre was perfect, and I love the speech afterwards of him paying his respect and telling the story of Sabre, and Sabre doing the same for Hero. And I thought that was a cool moment. Then we got Thatcher coming out, or maybe that was the night before, or whatever the case. But then we got the later on we heard Thatcher and Yehai at 74. Is it? And then or the 24th, and then Sabre and Thatcher at on the 25th, which is at La Boom, and I'm really praying, hoping, wishing that is when we get a Zack Sabre title win.
Whoa, that would be. I don't expect that. I guess at this point,
is what, the second or third time he's challenging for the belt. This last time after he lost, he's been on the mission. He's dominated some guys. He lost the Page, but now he got the win back. He beat, even though he ended up giving the win back right after he wouldn't let go of the submission. But he's on the roll right now, and I feel doing it at La Boom gives me that hope that we'll get that crazy moment and everyone's singing Zack Sabre's song and all that kind of stuff.
I just got goosebumps. If I didn't even, Thatcher's been champion for such a long time in my mind that I don't even expect him to lose it.
It's just if he's gonna lose that belt, like it's got to be at La Boom, man. It has to be.
It does feel like that, but could they also be saving it for Mania?
Yes, that's my other thing, but that's a couple months away. I'd be fine with a rematch or Sabre in a cooler match.
Man, you're going to be real upset when the Dream Team comes away with the titles and Thatch holds on, man.
It's going to be brutal. I was thinking of like Page running out interfering or something, and just like why? Like give me that finish that I want.
He does cause chaos.
Correct.
It'll be exciting. I'm going to call you out on this. Hopefully, we're going to have Stokely on the show before the next event. So I'm gonna point blank when
no problem.
Ask you right in front of him and see how you can tell the brains behind the Dream Team that you think he's gonna drop the titles.
I'll ask him to take a selfie with me after the loss.
If you, by the way, the Ethan Page YouTube it was basically like behind the scenes of Evolve 76 and 77.
I gotta watch that, so spoil it as little as you can, but I watched that the Space Monkey, and then I watched like a couple other videos. I've loved Ethan Page. The podcast was amazing and really kind of exposed me to another side of him I didn't know was there. So thank you for putting me onto that channel, because it's pretty hilarious.
I just want to say one thing. He looks at Stokely Hathaway and says, He looks like a woman in that sweater. It looks like he raided Medea's closet. Just unbelievable.
You'll have to ask him about that too.
And that next weekend, it's just going to be good. I mean, Yehai's been on a tear. He's going to get a title shot now. It's kind of crazy. He's already your FIP champion. He's the Evolve Tag Team champion. So I don't know if you want to do something crazy there.
No, that doesn't happen. I don't know. Like, I like Yehai, but I don't. Right now, I don't see him as that main eventer. He gets better all the time, but I don't know.
if we have him on the show, you're in trouble, bro. You're in big trouble.
Big trouble.
All right. No, I really, I share kind of your thoughts about the show, though. It was, I really enjoyed watching it. There were just a couple hiccups with some of their stuff.
Right. Go ahead.
So first of all, the biggest hiccups, right, were obviously the ring during the opening match, I believe, with Peter Kassar.
Before you go into detail about this, this tells you everything you need to know about me as a wrestling fan. That literally, I basically blocked the ropes breaking out of my mind. I just, like the Hero Lee match, after the ropes broke, they took everything to the floor, they brawled around. I enjoyed it more. Like it as much as it could have, it didn't take away from it as much.
Well, here's all right. So the second rope breaks early in the night. They fix it, and during the main event, or not the main event, but during the Hero Lee match,
mm-hmm.
the second rope breaks, the top rope breaks, and then the second rope breaks. I know they did an amazing job of calling an audible. I mean, there was even a point where Hero asked them told the ref no timeouts, no countouts. And then after he was done being outside, he rolled back in and he goes, "All right, countouts." And it was funny because they had been out there for a while. So I just thought the improvisation was just unreal. However, at the same time, all right, when Kassar bounced off, he fell out to the outside and it looked real bad. But he was okay. They announced later in the night. Hero, when the top rope breaks, he kind of falls and hits his head on the second rope and looked a little shaken up. And it could have been bad if he had gone with a little bit more force. He could have just spilled over that top rope. And then the second rope, ends up breaking when Lee's going for a moonsault, which is, you don't really need the rope breaking when you're going for a moonsault. So it's just, for me, especially with the fact that you've got involved with guys like Jason Kincaid, who just do crazy stuff, or Keith Lee, who, for a man who's over 300 pounds, goes for moonsaults. It's just a little scary because these guys don't have these contracts where they're safe. If they get hurt,
nobody does.
Well, but I mean, Seth Rollins does. It sucks that he's hurt. But he's gonna be okay, He doesn't have to make his.
He's not getting paid necessarily.
Well, no, he is. It's part of his downside in his contract.
I don't know that there is that. That's what I'm saying. The wrestler's contract, the independent contractor thing, that is all a fuzzy topic.
I've been listening to a lot of Bruce Pritchard over here, so I heard this thing called downside guarantee, that no matter what, they make a baseline. And then they can improve upon that.
But that baseline may be $100,000 or something, and that's. I get what you mean, but
that's dope.
That's not a lot.
Give me something. Tell me my downside is this, and I can just sign me up.
Right, but the downside could also be $10,000. It is more of what I meant, right. And then it's merchandise and it's that kind of thing.
All right.
I forget what podcast it was where. Somebody was saying making about the Owens and Reigns joke, where I make $30,000 on merchandise. I think it was Ryback, and he was saying well, if he makes $30,000 on merchandise, then that's why Reigns was laughing, because that's a joke, where people are pulling in millions and that sort of thing. So you never really know how much they're making, and then having to pay for insurance or having to take care of everything else, that costs a lot of money.
Yeah, I would assume so. But, I just worry about, my whole thing was just, when something like that happens, it's worrisome. It makes you start thinking that, Evolve's got a bigger stake in things now, and with this Exposure Flow Slam and this 3-year deal, whatever, it just, I know it must be difficult to transport stuff, but they just got to make sure that stuff like that doesn't happen. And the other thing that bothered me was I didn't get a chance to watch it live, 73. So just the way there was like a real delay in Flo Slam getting up. Other than that, I love the wrestling. I thought the Riddle Dustin match was excellent. I love when something like, Sabre Jr. wins and then doesn't let go, so then he loses, so Paige gets the victory. I mean, nothing's better than that. Sabre Jr. looks strong, but Paige can still say he's got to win, walking out of it.
Right. The way they handled both nights, especially the second night, was just phenomenal. And the ropes took away something, during it, watching it live, etc. But the second night, they had a brand new ring. Everything was flawless, and it was what we expect from Evolve. And I agree with what you're saying. They're the higher standard a little bit right now, and of that, they're in that upper echelon of independent wrestling for us, maybe more so than others. But they have that sort of pipeline with NXT, and so that credibility is there. So you need to see better from them, and yes, stuff happens. It's happened in WWE. It happens, but they took care of it the next night. Everything was handled, and it was fine. So that's all you can really ask for.
Oh yeah, I mean, kudos to them for making sure that wasn't going to happen again. So I do have to commend them on that part of it. And Riddle's crazy as always. It's just Darby Allin. I love what he's doing there. I like everything they're really. Jason Kincaid, he didn't pick up wins, but he looked good out there as well, and Jaka Dickinson. So I think everything's really moving well with Evolve, and I'm very excited to go to their next show because it's kind of weird. Is this the first time they've had a weekend in a while that we haven't gone to one of the shows?
Right, it does feel weird that they're going other places, and this will also be the first time in a little bit where we're in the second show.
Oh yeah, and they're now
that's I'm telling you, man. Oh, Zack Sabre Jr. Telling you, man. La Boom is going to be rocking.
God, I feel so bad to see Stack and Thatch just upset.
Nope.
The Dream Team not happy.
Sorry.
All right. So let's. I guess if you have anything else to say about Evolve before we move on to NXT.
No.
All right. So the NXT Takeover. I really enjoyed watching this, top to bottom. I'm not sure if I'm a little tainted because I wanted Rude to win and he did. So I'm not sure if that match was as good as I think it is, or because I thought the story at the end was unbelievable. The women's match, it did well to move things along with these four women, but I didn't love it. I don't know. How did you feel about that match?
Well, I mean, the show overall, I thought was really good. It's definitely one of the better takeovers in a while, and it never ceases to amaze me because every time there's a takeover or every time I get a little more distance from the product, there is a takeover, and it's just like, oh shit, this is still the best wrestling that they have going, and these are still the best storylines that they have going, and they're still building the best characters here, and everything is what it is. It doesn't matter who's there, and I know Triple H was saying, he's not happy with the current state of the guys now, with who they got over, but I think what they did at this takeover really solidified that next crop of guys and even girls, and it did a great job of, if you want to talk about that women's match first, it did a great job of putting the three women on the map and showing that they can hang around Asuka and they can do some things, especially Peyton and what's her name? Billie Kay.
Yeah.
So, I enjoyed what I saw from that match. Asuka is the beast. So, like we said, when it's going to come down to her and Ember Moon, and that's fine. But, I'm enjoying what they're doing with everyone else. And, they have those three women that they just signed. So that I think Heidi Lovelace, I'm not sure if anyone else, but I think Heidi Lovelace. Right, no, but I mean, Heidi Lovelace wrestled on the NXT taping.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so that's what I was. Yeah, so they're bringing in that next crop.
I hope I hope it continues. I mean, the women's division is really looking strong, so I think I hope that we kind of get. It'll be interesting to see if we get a kind of a repeat of the four horsewomen down there, in just the fact that maybe there's something about that group down there, that environment that breeds kind of like the best, or if that was just kind of like lightning in a bottle thing.
Well, the environment definitely does breed or bring out the best of these talents, so that's definitely part of it. Like if the Four Horsewomen debuted on Raw, like they wouldn't have been the Four Horsewomen. They would have just ended up being divas or something regular like that. But because NXT showcased them and because NXT put them in the storylines and the spotlight, it forced Raw's hand, and rightfully so. So I agree with what you're saying. And this crop is a version of it, but I don't know that they'll reach those heights. Those are high standards.
Any other matches stick out to you?
I mean, everything basically. The DIY Authors of Pain was really good. I really enjoyed that. I figured, I knew that Authors of Pain, the storyline just made sense with them winning and DIY chasing for a bit. So I'm fine with that. I love the match. It was really good. Definitely better, I think, than most expected from the Authors of Pain.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were going to win, but I was still I just felt this sadness once the match ended and I realized that DIY had lost. And I know you're probably right about the way it's going to continue and DIY is going to fight, but I don't know. I was a little bummed out. It was really well executed, so that adds to my that promo that DIY cut before. I was like, oh, you know what? I think they're gonna win. I think they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it themselves.
I was deprived of watching that match without being spoiled. I won't point any fingers.
Literally pointing his finger at me.
But I didn't really get to be in suspense for it. So that was a little unfortunate. But I knew Authors of Pain were winning anyway. But it would have been nice to see that underdog story play out and see how I felt throughout it if I really thought they had a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I was really rooting for them, so I took it a little harder. Statwife looked at me and was like, are you alright? And I was like, yeah, I'm just bummed. Like, why? I'm like, well, I thought they were going to lose, so why are you bummed? Well, because I didn't want them to lose.
Then they lost.
It's like I like them.
Yep.
They're small guys.
And then, I mean, the Dillinger EY match was solid. It of course, like we thought, or I said, Dillinger is that guy to put people over.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about him in a little bit. But, EY is there. I think we get to see that continue throughout the next set of tapings, maybe on to Mania. But, and then we had the main event was just glorious, for lack of a better term. It was really good. And I mean, like, what? How happy is Bobby Roode that he left TNA to go to NXT? I mean, he wrestled Shinsuke. Not only he wrestled, he beat Shinsuke Nakamura in the main event of TakeOver in a bigger arena than TNA's ever had, and then became the champion. His theme song is amazing. He's got robes. He's got grand entrances. It's phenomenal.
I was so happy he won. I'm not sure if that tainted like my view of it because I was just so happy to see him win. But I don't know. I'm just like watching him. I just wish he would have even been WWE earlier. He just his arrogance, the way he works in the ring. Everything works perfectly, and you can't say enough about the way Nakamura sold a leg injury, and then that's the story that came out of that was just perfect. Nothing on knock for doing that. If anything, he looks like a badass for going, after the move with his hurt leg.
Right.
And then Bobby Roode is just smart. He doesn't even win dirty. He just wins because he took advantage of someone's injury, which happens. So he still looks like it's a good. It's not a heel victory. It's a face loss. But that doesn't make anybody look weak. So it was just a fantastic match.
Well, I would say it's not a face loss. It's a heel victory. It's
a heel victory would be like cheating.
But a heel victory is also taking advantage of the injury.
No, that's not.
That's not a face. That's not Nakamura losing. That's Bobby Roode's doing damage, and Nakamura fighting, and Bobby Roode just taking advantage of him not being able to. I think that's the ultimate heel babyface storyline, and that's why I love it so much. It's the babyface in peril. It's the just ruthless heel, and that's perfect for both of them right now.
But see, I don't think that's even a heel move. Listen, if you're really a face, then you pull like a Macho Man at WrestleMania 8, and despite your leg being torn asunder, you still are able to win with a roll up and win another championship.
Right. He didn't have a great heel opposing him, I guess.
He what? Oh, don't even get me started.
Bobby Roode, it is a heel move. Like, when does the babyface ever take advantage of the injury, and when the referee is like stopping the match, just continues on finisher after finisher and then wins? That's Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Is that okay?
No, it's not okay when it happens to Zayn, but
correct.
I'm fine with it happening to Nakamura.
It's not exactly, but that's how Kevin Owens won his title versus Sami Zayn. He just wouldn't stop.
Yeah, but they were also friends, and so it made it even worse.
That has nothing to do with it. They're not friends. They met at NXT. What are you talking about?
All right, I'm just gonna move on because I'm gonna get angry. Are there any other matches? What did you think about Roddy Almas?
I'm glad to see Roddy get the win. I'm enjoying Almas's heel character more. He's definitely getting a lot more comfortable. Hopefully, Roddy plays a big part in the next takeover.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, Almas. Again, it's weird with NXT. I feel like oftentimes I end up very often rooting for the faces and rooting against the heels, which is kind of the flip of what I do on the main roster. But Almas is somebody that I really don't like. Not that he's bad. I just mean I don't root for him. I want him to lose. So, and not in the I hate Batista way, but in the I just don't like you because you play your character well. So, glad to see Roddy get the win, and I really hope he's moving up. Sometimes there's a part of me that starts to feel like maybe NXT needs a secondary title, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just going overboard.
Yeah, like they could use a TV title, sort of a thing, but I don't know that you need it. There's only so much time. There's only so many guys on the roster. They haven't really had that problem where they've had too much talent yet. They've done a great job managing these guys and getting them over despite only having the one title. I think it gives everyone something to strive for. The NXT title means something. If I think Pete defends the UK championship on one of these NXT tapings, so they can use that and then they can go from there, because it doesn't have to be Tyler Bate or Dan Severn or Trent Severn. It could be Dan Severn or Trent Severn. It can be old New Yorkin or someone like that. Maybe a title on there.
I mean, I actually think that's a better idea than doing the UK show, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they can do both, and especially if they're going to have these ICWs or Progress on the network, they can just throw guys there and work something out with that.
Agreed. All right, so that's really Takeover, right?
we had the Rollins Triple H angle, which was just really, really good. Sour a little bit now, but fantastic at the time.
Yeah, no, I mean that's that. Everything about that, the way that he came down there, knowing that Triple H would be there, the kind of way
I'm
that
taking this bitch over.
yeah, this takeover, right? I'm taking that line again. That line alone was just awesome. But I also feel like it just has so many layers to it. You know, this idea that there's this kind of acknowledgement about Triple H. You know, like he runs this, so he's definitely going to be here. He can't avoid me here. Kind of crossing over into that real life kind of thing, you know, because Triple H doesn't come out on NXT Takeover and go like, "I'm the game," and just be, you know, act like a super heel. So it's just a nice pipe bomb-ish moment in a way.
Right. It's, you know, it's what everyone was kind of asking for. Like, hey, if Triple H isn't coming out and he's quote unquote not there at Raw, then go where you know he is. You know, it's the logical move, and we don't always get that in wrestling. So everything you're saying, like with your opinion, is exactly what they told us on Raw, and that's perfect. You know, sometimes they actually get things right, and when they get things right, unfortunately, somebody gets hurt. You know, and that just sucks because they've literally been building this for 6 months, and it's really unfortunate to see if Rollins is hurt or he can't come back to see that happen again.
Like, why wasn't
there's just a part of me that's still it's still real to me. Damn it! I'm hoping this is somehow a lie.
I mean, I don't even wasn't. It didn't seem like he was wearing the knee brace. I just don't understand.
It came out of nowhere, right? It came out of nowhere. They filmed it, and he left in the car with Cesaro. So Cesaro drove him to the hospital or the doctors, and not the ambulance. And then he tweets out the thing, and then Joe takes credit for it, telling Triple H, you know, I delivered as promised, which you have to do that regardless. But I don't think you necessarily do that immediately if the guy is actually hurt. And I don't know. Now it's a 2-month injury. He guaranteed that this wasn't over till he dethroned the king.
Wait, you think we're being worked?
I'm hoping. I'm really hoping. It was reported. A kid showed me his WWE alert at 10 o'clock in the morning on school on Tuesday. I didn't read it on any websites. I didn't see it anywhere else. And I was like, well, no, that can't be. That's a lie.
Wow. I can't even really fathom this idea that it's a lie.
When have they, maybe I'm blinded, when have they videotaped someone who was like maybe torn his ACL and like walking to the car? When have they done that? And like not in a documentary 7 months later. Like when have they released that footage? I don't know. It just came out of nowhere, man. And of course, it's his same knee. I didn't see anything on Raw. I didn't see any sign of it. I don't know.
I mean, I've seen some stuff like where it's like his knee got rolled, basically.
Right. I've seen the picture, but I don't know. They said it's a torn MCL out for 8 weeks.
Oh, that came out. Okay, I had only saw him posting pictures of him at the hospital and stuff, and it hadn't said how long.
If that's 2 months, is April 1st. When is Mania? The 1st, the 4th? It's possible he's just back, and you know we just lose the Samoa Joe part of it, or it's possible he guts through this, you know, quote unquote. Russell Wilson played like half the season with a torn MCL or something, didn't he? He could do it. Come on, Seth.
I mean,
we need you, buddy.
Well, I think what could happen is have Joe dominate in his absence.
Correct.
Right? Then right before Mania, he comes out and like completely takes Joe out, and it's like, Triple H, I want you at Mania this Sunday.
Yeah,
Like he comes
It
at the
could very
Raw,
well happen that way.
like the
I would
Raw
rather
before.
see. I would like to see Joe have a match at Mania, so that's my only hold up there with him just being taken out. But yeah,
But you build him. You know what I'm
now
saying? Like I know he's not going to be there, and like, for him that's going to suck. I don't know, but just the
I
idea
hope
that
he's there.
I guess they
Two
don't have to
Manias in a
kick
row,
him
bro,
out.
and right before he just got it's 2 months away. That's it. He's there. Ugh.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
It's really kind of depressing. I mean, injuries happen, you know, and by far my life has not been the same. But you know, and I didn't get surgery on my knee, but I know that it's never felt the same, you know. And I don't know how, because I had never really understood the gravity of hurting your leg. I didn't understand how much it affects the way you do everything, you know, shower and stuff. And I definitely don't think to do things that I used to be able to, that I used to never think to do, you know, try to. I would do anything, and now I'm like, oh, how am I going to land? I just think that I don't know how you come back from this if it's serious again. Because they say 2 weeks.
It's the torn MCL, so the MCL isn't so bad. But you know, you never want to do anything, especially to the one that you just got. But you know, maybe now he was favoring the back of his leg, or he was favoring something, and now that other piece is fixed and brand new, and everything should be good.
Yeah, no, speedy recovery, and if it's at work, kudos on them.
I'm praying, man. I hope you know, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Boy Meets World. When Corey and Topanga break up, and Sean's like, Corey's like, oh man, it sucks. It's like, what, to know it's over? No, to be the only one who knows it's not. I'm praying, man. I'm praying it's not. It's a work. Hoping I'm the only one.
I mean, it would be so smart if
Genius.
it was a work, because also then you're actually giving
you put over Joe,
and you're giving his leg more time to heal, to actually heal. Like, I don't know.
Give him 2 weeks, 3 weeks off Raw. Have him fight at Fastlane if need be. Have him do an angle with Joe, like you said, where he just comes out of the crowd after a match. That's fine. Just I need him at WrestleMania, man.
But you know, like, I was just thinking, oh man, the things that we get most excited about now, almost, is like, oh man, I hope this isn't a work. I mean, this is a work. Like, we hope the real life stuff that's happening is just a work. Nah, he's not really injured. Nah, he's not really leaving the company.
All right.
He's coming back. I
mean, the real life stuff is the only things that you can hope that aren't a work, right? You can't hope that work things aren't a work.
Well, yeah, no, but
or is that what you're getting at?
We're most excited about stuff that isn't a work, right?
Hoping that it is a work.
Yes.
Right,
like that, we're like, the best chance they have right now is
right.
would be
but that's the beauty of wrestling, and that's what they failed to realize. Like, you can use the real world. You have to use it now. Technology is a real thing.
Like, I don't.
Just again, why are you standing crotch first in front of the camera?
Oh, sorry about that. Well, I forgot that I have the camera on. My apologies. Sorry, listeners.
I mean, it's not sorry, listeners. They can't hear it, but
now I have to think about it. So, all right. So, moving on. You want to just move into Rumble?
Yeah, that would be the next step, right?
Right. Yeah. All right. So I'm just trying to go from the top of my head. I mean, what did you think about Owens and Reigns?
Great. Absolutely. Really, really, really good match. I love the brawl. Obviously, I wasn't... no, scratch that. I was thrilled that Braun Strowman came out and killed Roman Reigns and allowed Owens. I was absolutely thrilled. Don't care that Kevin Owens can't win on his own. Does not bother me at all. He's the Universal Champion. He's probably going to lose it to Goldberg or Brock at Fastlane, so that's brutal. But, you know, at least for now, he remains the Universal Champ, and I can hold on hope that he's going to be the champ at Mania.
You think he's gonna lose it?
I'm hearing it's possible.
No, I'm hearing the same thing, but I think it's bullshit.
We asked this question before the Rumble, and I decided it was impossible to answer. I take that back. I'm much happier that Kevin Owens won his belt, and I'm not that upset that AJ Styles lost this.
Oh, since we're at the perfect point in the middle, actually, we're not perfect because I kind of missed it a little bit. We actually ran 2 polls this week. So one of them was actually which match the fans thought was the best match for Evolve weekend, and I think like 79% of our voters.
What were the choices there? Do you remember?
So yeah, I'm just trying to locate it right now. For some reason, it's not coming up. Not very excited right now. All right, so from that weekend, it was Chris Hero, Sabre. It was Chris Hero, Keith Lee. It was Riddle.
See, where the hell was Riddle Dustin? You didn't. That's what I looked at this and I was like, wait a minute, that's not even a choice.
Have you found it?
I found the picture you sent me, with Hero Lee, ACH, High, Hero Sabre, and Thatcher Cobb.
Oh, so you think you'd make a case for that other match being better?
Yeah, Riddle Dustin, I like better than ACH High. Riddle ACH, right? That was the first one. I like that better than either of the other two. Hero Sabre still wins no matter what, but I think there were a couple matches that could have given it more of a run for the money.
All right, I understand that, but I don't think the winner would have changed.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then the other one I ran was about what match you enjoyed most from the Royal Rumble, and there was Charlotte Bayley, Reigns Owens, Royal Rumble itself, and Cena versus AJ Styles,
which clearly had to be the far and away winner.
Yeah, 79%. So just thanks. Just by the way, thanks for everyone who voted. I think it honestly was pretty successful.
We'll definitely be doing more in the future.
Yeah, I think we're gonna make this try to do this a weekly thing, and just plug us a little bit. But if you guys have any ideas for what you want us to poll, you can email us runningwildpodcast@gmail.com, or leave us a message on Twitter over Running Wild LWOS, and we'll run anything and we'll discuss that.
And I mean, what? Not really any more of a perfect time, because throughout the next 2 months we're going to be watching all 32 WrestleManias, so we'll have plenty of trivia and poll questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna be running. And if you just a self plug, if you go over to my Twitter, follow me. I'm just live tweeting while I'm watching some of the WrestleMania.
Random WrestleMania.
So I just want you to know that I'm live tweeting stuff that happened 30 years ago. So just longer than my co-host has been alive. So yeah, it's fantastic. All right, so let's talk about. Well, first of all, before we finish the Reigns Owens, I popped so hard when Jericho took out Brass Knucks. I mean, Stat Wife looked at me. She goes, "You said that on the episode." And I'm not saying that I'm this amazing. It wasn't that I was so happy that I predicted it. It was more that I just thought it was cool. Like, that's what I would have done, and it was just cool to see it.
Right, when you said it, like, you remember my reaction was like, "Oh, yep. That's exactly what's happening."
Because it's something got to hide. So, and actually, Stat Wife noticed how I was concerned when Owens didn't win. Like, after
with
getting
that? Right.
When he didn't win with the Superman with the Brass Knucks, I was like, this is terrible. Like, Reigns didn't win now. And then I was so happy when Braun Strowman came out. I never thought I'd be so happy to say. Never thought I would say that I was so happy to see Braun Strowman come out. And that's a testament to what they're doing. So, kudos on them.
Right, I love Braun Strowman. I loved the reaction and the stuff that he did on Raw with Owens the next night, and getting that match, and still then having that interaction with Reigns. We'll talk more about Reigns a little bit in the Rumble. But yeah, I really loved the match. The chair spot was dope. And it was funny because Jericho just released his podcast with Owens from Survivor Series.
Okay.
And Owens is talking about, like, yeah, I should really stop with all those contraptions. They never seem to work out for me. And Jericho asks him, like, what his favorite or what his most infamous, and he says, like, oh, I have this this tower of chair spot that I do with like 8 or 9 chairs. I haven't done it yet, but I'm sure at some point. And I was like, oh wow, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
You just did it. That's pretty cool. So it was I guess just timing being perfect right there, but it was cool. So I love that match. Reigns is awesome in the ring. He is entertaining. He gets a reaction. He gets you in the match. And that's all we could ever really ask for, right? He's not as bad as everyone says he is or thinks he is.
But I don't think that he's bad. I think it's the same. All right. So I've been listening to a lot of the Bruce Pritchard podcast, and I keep hearing things about how at a certain point the fans were done with Hogan. And they were just
1994 WCW.
Well, no, but even before that.
Right. Well, that's why he left WWF in the first place.
But he's saying that even like leading up to WrestleMania 6, like there was already this guy's had it for long enough.
Right.
And Cena kind of ended up getting that same almost reaction in some ways. Like people are sick of it, and I think it just kind of happened quicker with Reigns. I just think they were, or they've been, or they are pegging him to be that next transcendent star, and the fans have mobilized very quickly in showing, or at least obviously the mid-30s or the 25 to 50-year-old age bracket that goes on the internet. That's really a big contingent of people that do not enjoy Roman Reigns.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to get at here is like that. It's so unjustified. It's everything that people hate about Roman Reigns is that Daniel Bryan didn't win that Royal Rumble. That's what they hate about Roman Reigns. That's not Roman Reigns' fault. And Roman Reigns hasn't done anything that merits that reaction. Yes, the booking of him and the superhero treatment is annoying, but that's what wrestling is predicated on. It is those larger-than-life baby faces that get brought down by the villains.
Would you say that, though, Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Wouldn't you say that his look, though, is far more I'm a heel?
No, I think he's the good-looking, muscular, long-haired babyface that women and children love. And that's what your audience is for that babyface. And he has that tough, badass side, but it's just that he wasn't great at speaking at first, and not everyone is, right? But in the ring, I've. When's the last time you've really been disappointed in a Reigns match? I love the Reigns Big Show feud. I thought they told a hell of a story in the ring. I like Roman Reigns' work. I like Roman Reigns' look. I don't like that he pushed to the moon immediately, but that's what happens. He's not. It's not for a lack of talent. Maybe a lack of charisma. That's the problem. But it's because the people wanted Daniel Bryan, and that's not fair.
Okay, but just to kind of do a counterpoint, Rocky Maivia was being pushed very quickly. Not in the world title picture, but he immediately got the IC title. People are chanting.
I think you're arguing the same point as me. Like I'm not arguing that he needs to be a heel.
Oh, okay.
I'm just arguing that people shit on him. Like he's being forced to be a heel, and at this point he should be, because people are still mad that he eliminated Bryan, or Bryan didn't win that Rumble, you know?
But whatever it is.
People hold that grudge for too long. And then it gets blown up into, like, this guy can't work, or he's a terrible wrestler. And that's not true.
But if the internet had been what it was before, my point is the WWE needs to have read this already and seen that the blueprint with his cousin or something, right, The Rock, he wasn't working as a face, so they embraced him being a cocky heel and had him turn on the fans, and then it made him that much bigger when it became clear that they could no longer keep this guy heel because everyone loved him so much.
Right. I'm not arguing that at all. I think that's exactly what they need to do, and they're idiots for not doing it sooner. I think the interaction with Taker at Mania is at the Rumble is heading in that little more edgier. I don't care. I'm not braggadocious, cocky, arrogant heel. And I think that could be the direction we go in. But I'm not arguing that he should be a heel or anything like that. I'm just arguing that people take things away from him for no reason, no fault of his own, really.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Although it was really awkward to see him with the Susan G. Komen people.
Yeah, whatever.
Although
he should never, ever, if after the Shield, if Roman Reigns didn't speak, if he just beat people up, he would not be in this position. But because he spoke, and because they force-fed him corny lines, it ruined him. And then the whole Dana Bryan thing, and people just, that's it, they ran with it.
By the way,
if they book him differently, it's a different story.
But see, look, corny lines. I mean, Hulk Hogan, after winning the main event of WrestleMania 1, Mean Gene is interviewing backstage. You know what he says? The first thing he says? You know what really turns me on, Mean Gene? And you know what? I almost didn't notice it. Because it's just the charisma is oozing out of him, and you can kind of ignore it. So I don't know.
I don't really get what you're arguing here. Like,
Hogan got corny. If you listen to what Hogan says, and he still got over.
That's the blueprint for the babyface. That's what I'm saying. Like Hogan was terrible in the ring, but his charisma and his selling were some of the best ever. So that's why he was the star. Reigns is an opposite version of that. He doesn't have that innate charisma yet. And, The Rock had a sort of innate charisma, but it took him being the heel to get there. I'm not disagreeing with you at all on that. I'm just saying that people unfairly criticize Reigns more than other things, All
right, fair. All right. So, we also had Bailey.
All right, fair means that you just didn't listen to the last 15 seconds, so you're ready to go.
No, I listened. Because we generally agree on most of it, then I don't think there's really a lot further to go.
I was just messing with you.
Oh, I know, because I do that to my wife, but I don't do that to you. All right.
Right.
It's a good thing she doesn't listen to the show anymore. This will be the 1 week she does.
Right.
All right.
She's just outside the door.
I thought Bailey Charlotte had a good story also. I'm glad that Charlotte held on to the belt, but I think...
I'm sorry. It's funny that just now I remember that there was a pre-show to Royal Rumble.
Oh, that's right. No, I just jumped all those matches.
The women's matches were kind of just whatever, but the tag title match was pretty solid, and the club finally got the win like you predicted on the pre-show.
Yeah, baby. Maybe I can play that on YouTube and get some hits. It's just so sad. It's just so sad that I didn't want to be right about that. I didn't want it to be like, hey, here's an afterthought. And no matter what you say, no matter what you do, if it's not part of the main card, then it's not the same. And there have been matches that turn out differently because they're not in the main card. And this is just something that's always going to bother me. I mean, you have two separate brands, and I guess, for the bigger shows, it becomes a problem. But at a certain point, you're deluding yourselves, WWE, if you believe that fans aren't turning on the kickoff show.
Fans are turning on the kickoff show.
Yeah. I mean, it's like this idea. Well, when I'm
but I think that's where you may just be a little bit off. I think more people than you think actually watched, and we watch most of the pre-show, and maybe they don't watch all the nonsense, but they definitely tune in when the match is on. They follow it on Twitter or whatever that case, and I think they put it on at a point late enough where everyone or most people were in the building, so it was a good enough crowd, it was good enough reaction. The match was a well-told story. I really enjoyed it. So I get what you're saying, because I completely agree with, if it's not on the main card, it's kind of whatever. But I think with the network now, when more people watching the pre-show, I don't think it's so bad. It's.
But that's what I mean. Don't
is
call
it,
it the pre-show.
Any worse? Well, that's why it's called the kickoff. But is that any different than someone losing it on the house show or on an untelevised match?
Why not do the kickoff? Okay, this is my argument. You started the kickoff at 5, and then you had 3 matches on the kickoff, if I'm right.
Right.
100%. You can fit those 3 matches from 6:15 to 7 o'clock.
You want it to be a 6-hour, a 5.5-hour pay-per-view?
But it is.
Right, it is without it being it. So if you don't care about that stuff, then don't watch it. But if you do,
bullshit.
Then you got to charge an extra $20. Then it's more.
Why?
Because if it's 2 hours longer, then it's
1
more
hour
money,
longer.
isn't it?
1 hour longer. Started at 6.
Right, but so pay-per-view started at 8, right? So now it's 5 hours instead of 3.
Who in the blue hell
would you
watches
rather
it on pay-per-view?
Hey, there might be some people, but would you rather them not have matches on the Rumble at all? Is that a better option?
Okay.
Like, hey, these storylines have been really good. They're not quite good enough to make the main card, so we're just not, or not even that they're not good enough. We don't have enough time on the main card, even with 4 hours. So what are we going to do to them?
I'm gonna say something, and this is not gonna prove anything, because at the end of the day, I don't know if we have enough people that listen that will be able to properly help us decide this. But if you can send me the last 6 months, like screenshots, blur your address out, just proof that you paid for 6 months of WWE pay-per-views, and I will send you any shirt from the WWE store that you want. Email runningwildpodcast@gmail.com.
Man, I hope one person does, just so you have to buy them a shirt.
I'll do it because that person deserves to get a shirt if they're paying $50. Like that absurd.
Yes, I don't think many people still buy them on pay-per-view. If anyone does, that's a serious problem. But it's just, you can't start the pay-per-view. You can't have a 5.5-hour pay-per-view. It can't.
Wrestle Kingdom?
That's in Japan, and they do that regularly. That's normal. And there's intermissions, and there's just. Did you watch Wrestle Kingdom? How many of those matches would you cut out? 6? You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
There's these. The problem is that there's too much going on, and that's not a bad thing. That's why we have separate pay-per-views. That's why we have separate shows right now, because there's too much talent. Not everything is good, but at least they're doing things with people. At least the tag titles are around. The singles titles are a little more meaningful. At least things are going on,
All right, no, I mean, you are correct there.
I take them winning at the kickoff rather than on a Raw, is what I'm saying.
Really, though? Because I feel like...
at least it's the Rumble. At least it's in a building of 50,000 people, and maybe 40 are there. But at least it's that stage.
All right, so like they're getting the rub of it being a large crowd and all that stuff.
Right, and then we won the titles at the Rumble, and that's a thing. That's it. You don't have to say I want him at the kickoff. It's I want him on the Rumble.
It just feels like it's the equivalent of saying like I won the titles on Sunday Night Heat.
Man, wow. That might be one of the greatest calls you've ever had. That is what the pre-show is, right? It's Sunday Night Heat of Jace.
I mean, 1,000%. No.
Like looking at it that way, it's a very different thing. But at least these matches are at the arena of the Rumble, and they're on the show. I don't know.
Well,
it's not on MTV.
No, true. Was that the halftime show, or was that on USA?
Halftime Heat was fantastic. I think it was on MTV.
So good.
What a genius thing, man.
All right, so I guess what do we talk about now? Cena.
I mean, we have you started to talk about the Charlotte Bayley match, so you can give your thoughts on that.
I thought it was excellent. The right person won, and at the same time, I think that Bayley, everything kind of made sense there. I like the story that was told during the match, and I expect a lot of good things to come down from this match in the future. Right,
and on Raw, we didn't get any Nia Charlotte stuff, right? It was all Bayley Charlotte.
There was a Nia Sasha match.
Nia Sasha, not Nia Charlotte? Oh,
yeah.
No, now she said she was done with Sasha. What? Cut.
Yeah, because it ended in a match stoppage, because Sasha couldn't compete anymore.
Right. And then she talked shit to Charlotte, or no? I don't remember.
I don't think... Yeah, no. I don't believe that occurred.
All right. Because I don't want to see Nia and Charlotte at WrestleMania. I don't think that's... Like, you're going to do a heel versus heel, or one of them is going to be a... You could do... The four-way is probably the way to go, but I still would rather Bayley Charlotte and Sasha and Nia at Mania. Just give me those underdog stories, and then go from there. But, I don't want to see a fatal four-way and Charlotte loses. Like she doesn't lose.
Oh, you want her to lose at Mania?
Right.
Oh, I'd be fine with her holding the title for 5 more years.
I wouldn't be opposed either, but
moolah that shit. Yes, I just used moolah as a verb. All right, moving on. Cena versus AJ. Woo!
Right. I mean, you can give your thoughts on this one.
It's so weird because I appreciate Cena in so much of a different way. This was excellent match. Cena keeps just doing amazing things in there, and he's really showing me a lot lately, and I'm just thankful to be able to watch him. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud.
I think we were like on the podcast when the turn started happening for us.
Yeah.
But like, the guy, I love him now. I enjoy all of his work. His promos have been fantastic. He's been a little tougher. He's been a little edgier. He's been a little more like, this is still my house. I'm still the man. You guys, you're all good. You're all talking blah, blah, blah. But hey, I'm still here. And that's great. He hasn't been the champion in how long, I don't mind him winning that title right now.
Yeah, I mean, and it sets that story. I just can't believe Ric Flair, his streak is broken, or his record's not going to stand anymore. I mean,
like, it's not a real record anyway. His real record is like 20-something, so.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, like, that'll always be something. And it'll be interesting to know how long, because Cena's going to lose it by WrestleMania. If not,
he might lose it at the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, he's going to lose it someplace soon, so.
That part takes away from it.
Yeah, it's going to be short, and it's only a way to make sure that he's going to get it one last time.
But here's I forget who mentioned this. Like, aside from like Money in the Banks, cash-ins, Cena hasn't had short title reigns. It hasn't been where he just lost it in a week or he lost it in a day. If it's on a cash-in, that's different. But Ric Flair has had some of those. So
Yeah.
Cena is the fourth longest combined reigns in WWE history. So that's saying something.
You know what would be great, and I don't think that's going to happen because I think they're going to make him break it. But it would just...
Oh, he's clearly breaking it.
Wouldn't it be just as amazing, though, as if from now till when he retires, he can't win that last one?
That would be fantastic.
And I feel like that's almost something that he would, say, hey, this is what I want to do. And they'd say, like, no, come on, let's be serious. But there really is a part of me that feels like
It would be... Go ahead.
I respect him so much because I feel like that's actually the way he thinks.
It would be something like where they're like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. And then 2 months later, someone gets hurt or leaves, and then it's like, we got to put the belt back on you.
Yeah. No, you're probably right.
And the other thing is like when John Cena won this belt and tied Ric Flair, right? Some people's greatest of all time, all of that. Nobody booed. Nobody was Cena sucks. There was a legitimate pop. There was a legitimate crowd reaction. Everyone was applauding. This guy has earned everyone's respect, and it's kind of cool to see that at this point in his career, he's not really that just most hated guy anymore. Reigns took that spot, took a little bit of that attention away, and people are like, hey, you know what? Compared to this Reigns guy, Cena's not so bad anymore. He's not being forced down our throats. So he kind of just took that throne away from him, fairly or unfairly, whatever the case. But he's in that spot now. So until they turn him, we'll find someone else to fit that mode. But it was a great match. One that everyone needs to go check out. Many times I was head in hand, like, how did that happen? Thank God he kicked out. All those sorts of things. But I wasn't mad when Cena won at all. I didn't. It was just like, okay, yep, took 2 AAs. That was a nice chain of moves. Phenomenal match, no problem.
No, I 100% agree with everything you said. I can't believe I'm saying that.
My only thing, right, about Cena, my only thing is what the Styles do at WrestleMania. That's my only question. I don't want to see him fight over the Intercontinental belt. I don't want to see him do anything like that, but there's nowhere really else for him to go.
Shane?
Are they having issues? Like, I don't know. I don't think this is the year that you need that Shane match. I think, we have, everything is a little bit in limbo now with Rollins, but I don't know, But that's another thing. He wasn't in the Rumble, so maybe he was hurt before that. But anyway, I don't know. With everything now, they might have to change some things around, but you have Taker and Reigns, presumably. You have Brock and Goldberg. You have Orton in the title match, maybe with Cena. So I think, a lot of these guys, big name guys, have their matches already. I don't know that you need to bring in Shane or someone else from the outside to help you out this year. Focus on the guys we got, use the legends that are there, and go.
You do have a point there. Well, we'll see how it turns out.
And that brings us to the Rumble, which it didn't clarify as much as people were hoping, but I don't know about you. I really enjoyed this Rumble. I thought there were a lot of good spots, and we can go through them as we go. But I'm interested to see what you thought about this, because I've heard some people not like it at all.
It's not that I didn't like it at all. I felt like the last 12 minutes were not my favorite. When I saw who was left in the ring, I don't know, and it's weird because I didn't really have anybody that I really was picking that I was really behind. Maybe I would have gone crazy if Dolph won, just because I wouldn't have seen that coming. Maybe I would have gone crazy, like legit, if Sami Zayn won, and I was pretty excited that he was in there for that long. I think I would have been pretty happy about Jericho winning. But I understand while I'm saying this that they're all outliers. They're not guys who most likely would have won this Rumble. So maybe that's why I would have been so excited about them winning. When the last three were Orton, Wyatt, and Reigns, you know, it kind of is like when anybody's playing the Patriots, I want them to win, but I may not really want them to win because I may not love them, but I just want them to beat the Patriots. So I wanted either Wyatt or Orton to beat Reigns.
So,
only when I was in that, when I was there. You have to understand, like, because those were the three options, because of those were the options were Orton, Wyatt, or Reigns. I'm like, Jesus, please help me. And I became very religious at that moment. But then Orton wins, and I'm sitting there going, really?
So a couple days before, I think, and maybe we mentioned it last week, like Orton was like jumping up in a lot of the bettors polls and stuff, which. Yeah. You know, I always still take with a grain of salt, like, for some reason, because they're literally always right. But I still was like, come on, Orton out of nowhere, that's just people, like, having no one else to vote for or something like that. So, you know, I didn't really buy into it. But, okay, so the last few minutes where it was just kind of those guys, I agree with you that I was like, oh, man, like, one of these guys is going to win. But the Brock and the Goldberg stuff and Undertaker and Reigns and the Strowman stuff and everyone teaming up and Corbin eliminating him, Ty Dillinger at 10. I loved all of that stuff. I really enjoyed it. Even Enzo at 27. At first I was like, oh, Enzo, and he made me laugh and he got me back into it. Like, okay, this was going to be funny. So I really enjoyed this Rumble. One of the other things is like, yeah, there's a lack of surprises, but yeah, okay, let's build the guys that we have. That's another point. You know, the Ty Dillinger at 10 was just brilliant. It was genius. Everyone was chanting it already, and then he came out, and I never thought about it once, and it was brilliant. Then, you know, in watching the Rumble once or twice, I found myself like, you know, Dillinger belongs. Like he looks. He fits right in. Everyone is over. Everyone loves him. He fits on this main roster. Let's get him there.
But at the same time, you know, he's not going to do that well.
He's not going to lose the opening match on every pay-per-view. That's all he has to do, right? To be at his NXT level.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he is a phenomenal hand. He's a great talent. Right now, the main roster crowd loves him with all this 10 stuff. So hey, use that to your advantage for now. It doesn't, you know, it could be after Mania, after something with Sanity, whatever the case. But you know, I think he's earned his spot up there.
I would be
like
so
I said,
good at losing.
It looked like he belonged.
I would be so good at losing all the time on WWE TV. So good.
Yeah, you'd be a perfect James Ellsworth.
And at least I have chins.
Right. You got chin hair and a chin.
That's why do you have to point out my weakness? I don't have chin hair.
Yeah, I forgot. I meant mutton chops. I'm sorry.
All right, so, I mean, that's Rumble, right?
Oh, well, I mean, okay. So this was the other point. The people hated Roman Reigns at number 30, right? Who would you have rather had at number 30?
AJ Styles.
Okay, so now AJ Styles comes out at number 30 and gets thrown out by Randy Orton in 37 seconds. How upset are you? Extremely. Now Roman Reigns comes out at 30. Everyone boos him. Randy Orton eliminates him. Well, okay, first we have the interaction with The Undertaker, which was pretty cool. Then he throws Undertaker out. They stare down. Reigns tells him, "This is my yard now." That's an immediate WrestleMania. That's it. Done. Sign me up. And Reigns is clearly the heel there, like in a major way. And so that was great. You set that up for Mania. And then anyone else is there and gets thrown out by Orton. Everyone boos. Everyone hates it. But because everyone hates Reigns and doesn't want him to win, it's genius. Because everyone's going to cheer and go crazy for Orton. Anyone else, if AJ is in that spot, that pop is everyone boos Orton out of the building. Because it was Reigns, everyone went nuts. Brilliant move by WWE. Absolutely brilliant. They outsmarted the Smarks. 100%.
I guess I just wanted one Duke the Dumpster Josie, or... You
yeah, but I'd rather have Ty Dillinger and Enzo. I'd rather have those guys.
I'd rather not have Enzo.
He's entertaining.
I know I'm terrible, but
and he's more valuable to the company over the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years.
Listen,
but this is the thing. If people complain about, there's too many surprises, where are the main roster guys? Oh, there's not enough surprises, where are the surprises? You can't win.
Well, all right. I don't need Goldberg or Brock or Undertaker in this Rumble for me.
See, they needed it to sell 50,000 seats, and I thought they used it well. I liked Goldberg just killing Brock again. I liked the Undertaker and Goldberg interaction. I liked the Undertaker and Reigns interaction. Like I said, some people were angry that Strowman didn't interact with those guys, but Strowman interacted with Corbin, and Strowman interacted with Zayn, and Strowman, it being in the top half, allowed Strowman to dominate and allowed him to stand out. Where if he's in the ring with those guys, he's the one getting tossed around. So, I think they did a really good job with this Rumble, and I really enjoyed it.
I just think, I don't know. You have SummerSlam weekend announced for 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row.
I believe this will be the last year.
This will be a third year, right?
Yeah.
At a venue that doesn't hold more than I'm gonna just overshoot it to be accurate, right? Like it doesn't hold more than 25,000.
I don't believe so, no.
And it's New York, right?
Yeah, I think with NXT it was like 18,000 or something. We were sold out.
It's just the type of thing where I don't want you to hold one of my favorite events at a large venue so that you feel the need to overstock it with guys who can do other things, or at least for the last 10 minutes it just felt like they were all there, and I guess you don't want to make Goldberg look weak. I don't know. Yeah,
but who see, this is the thing. You just said you wanted more surprises. Now you're complaining that the legends were the last 4 guys in the ring.
Okay, but then don't tell me. You know what? Then don't tell me they're going to be there. You're sitting there.
You need to advertise them.
Yeah, you do, because you want to sell the seats. But if you had that,
no. But if Goldberg comes out 2 weeks after he was just on Raw, it's not a surprise. It's not like, it's Goldberg. It's like, okay, Goldberg's back to try and win the Rumble. That's cool. Taker maybe, but other than Taker, everyone else is there.
No, but see, then keep Goldberg off TV after the last match. He just won, whatever, and he doesn't need to talk about being in the Rumble. See, if you have it at a 20,000 seat arena, then you would have just sold on the strength of it being Royal Rumble. And then if Goldberg comes out, or Brock comes out, and then Goldberg's music comes out, right? Then you're like, oh shit, what a surprise! Lesnar came out, and then Goldberg's out. Here's in a fucking mom. Brock comes in and does the same thing he did, and then suddenly Goldberg's music hits. Like, nah, bitch, you're not going to dominate like that. I just dominated you at the last time I saw you. I'm going to do it again. And everyone's thinking that as he's marching down to the ring, popping like a motherfucker, because this is about to go down. And then, wait, and then the music, then the lights go out, and then Taker fucking comes out, super pop of death.
Right, but it's not the same if these guys are there every other month. It's not like this will be Goldberg's first time back.
Okay,
it might have been his first time back in 2 months, but he just wrestled in November. It's the end of November.
I'd still pop. That would still, because he's not around. He's not announced.
Right, but it's the same. It's the same thing as you not knowing when they're coming out and them all coming out within four numbers. It's the same.
Oh, it's not the
Oh,
same
it's Goldberg. Oh,
thing.
that's
It's
cool.
not the
He's coming out
same
now.
thing.
It's the same
It's
thing.
like if
They're
I
there anyway.
no, it's like
They're
okay.
part of the roster. It's
If
not
I
like
had a
they're
party,
coming out of nowhere.
if I
They're
had a
not
party,
not on the roster.
if I had a party, and a bunch of you guys RSVP, and you're not showing up, like no one's on time, but then you start coming like within minutes of each other. That's not as exciting as if people RSVP'd no,
I 100%
and then
would be
just showed
excited
up.
if we played a game of like, oh, okay, no one's here. Who's showing up next? Who's it going to be? Oh, here's the doorbell. Let's count them down until they get upstairs. Yo, I would love that game. That would be the greatest. You should do that. It would be fantastic. It's a great party idea.
Oh my God.
You could tell me all 30 guests too, and then I'd still be hyped and excited when they enter.
I would.
That's what happens in the Rumble.
Okay.
I was super excited for the Dillingers, but
But however, one of the problems with this is, let's say you're inviting a family, right? Then it's not fun because, like, let's say it's your uncle and aunt and and your cousins and three cousins, right? Now they all come in order. Like that would be mad weird if, like, let's say DX all came to the Rumble in order.
So then what happens when you we have a surprise Rumble party and someone you don't want to show up? What happens when Batista shows up? What happens when Rey Mysterio shows up? Are you like, oh my God, Rey Mysterio, what are you doing here? You can't do that.
I would do that to him.
And then you would get Booyaka kicked in the face.
If he could just Booyaka in life, he would somehow find something in my place to be able to do that. Then I'd give him
the
some
elevator.
credit.
He'll just like come up on the top of the elevator somehow.
See, no elevator, bro.
Oh yeah, true. Forgot the old house.
You're not even seeing this sweet recliner I'm in right now. Matching recliners in this room, bro.
See it?
These are some nice, beautiful leather recliners. I chose to have the handle instead of the button because I just like the idea of like I'm taking off somewhere. It's like 1, 2, 3, blast off. All right, back to the show. Back to wrestling. All right, so that's Rumble, and now we still have to talk about.
That's pretty much it.
We have to talk about 205 Live in full detail. So guys, strap in. It's going to be about another hour and a half of great wrestling discussion. Or because we're both kind of tired, we're probably just going to rush through Raw and SmackDown because we feel like we covered most of it. And
there's the only thing to talk about on there's the Rollins injury, which the Samoa Joe attack, the angle, everything was amazing. And then we discussed it a little bit that hopefully this is a work. But who knows? Everything else was great. Hopefully this doesn't, sour it a bit. But then on SmackDown, we got the announcement of 2 Elimination Chambers, one for the tag titles. We don't really know anyone else in it. And then we got the Corbin, Miz, Ambrose, Styles, Cena, and who's the 6th person? Dolph? No. Miz, Ambrose, Styles, AJ, Cena. That's 5.
I think Corbin.
Yeah. Duh. I don't know. I must have left someone else off the first time. Yeah. So I mean, good. That's your top 6 guys on SmackDown. So those are the guys who should be in that match. And then we have 2 weeks. We'll discuss Elimination Chamber in greater detail in the coming weeks once we, have a little more going towards it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's nothing really that sticks out for me other than that on those 2 shows. It's just kind of it's weird, but it's getting to the point now in many ways. I mean, the Joe thing was huge, so I guess it only gets negated because of the fact that Rollins is hurt, so it almost feels like it didn't happen because of what happened.
Yep.
However,
because it very well might not happen.
But however, at the same time, it also feels like WWE's kind of starting to acknowledge the wrestling hangover, and like SmackDown didn't feel as big, and I think that's done by they're doing that very purposely, right? Because you get to a point where how much can you watch? I mean, you probably expect the fans to be a little tired. Make
Yeah.
the second week a little bit bigger. And and maybe this is me because I'm older now, but there's a part of me that I'm super excited that I get to find out the next day what they're going to start doing. But there's also a part of me that this idea that I would have to wait would like make it that much more just incredible. I would be so much more, almost more excited to find out how things were going to play out a week later, and not the 12 hours or whatever it is. Not 12 hours, 20 hours, whatever.
Yeah, I completely agree.
All right. So with all that, let's start discussing just random independent federations and all of what they're doing. You ready? All right. I'll just announce one thing then. We finally have a winner. So just want to thank everyone who has entered the contest, everyone who retweeted out there. It was great to have you guys listening. But we did have one winner randomly selected. I just kind of ran it through a program that mixed up all the names that were included. So the winner of 2 tickets to Glory Pro's first show on February 19th, featuring Matt Riddle taking on Michael Elgin, is Kyle Mabury, and he's at wild_Kyle1 on Twitter. So he is the lucky winner, and we'll be sending out information over the weekend so that you can claim your tickets. Congratulations, and thanks for participating.
Yeah.
All right, and all that out of the way, just want to remind you guys that we're brought to you in partnership with pwpartners.com, Last Word on ProWrestling.com, ROHWorld.com, and we're featured on the Wrestling to Max Network. We've said it a couple times before, but make sure you guys, if you have any comments, questions, or anything like that, send them over to runningwildpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure to check out our fancy website, runningwildpodcast.com. When you get a second, please leave us a review and a rating over on iTunes, or actually leave us a comment on SoundCloud as well. Apparently, Runz is fighting some dead cats or something like that. So,
Rey Mysterio's music, bro.
See, I want to be clear to everybody out there listening
619.
that Rey Mysterio,
That's my Pueblo.
Rey Mysterio's music sounded like cats dying to me.
Don Crusader blowing up screens like a space invader.
This has got to stop. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
It's English.
I don't think there's anything else left to say. Thank you for listening to the podcast. That is just too sweet.
Booyaka, booyaka.